Probably should have loaded this first. Quit snickering.
I think it's funny.
It's a very ugly t-shirt. Should I put funny images for your guys' PC cameras?
Oh, did it not?
You know it doesn't work for you.
I just use the one that's pinned in the Discord.
Yeah, I know. It still doesn't work. I'm just saying it doesn't work for you. We've been doing this for like 20 sessions almost. It's not going to suddenly change.
You want to send me one that does work, or?
I legit don't know what it is that's wrong with your side. Because Dan and Alec are doing the same link. It's the same. It's the same room.
When I try to use their link, it just doesn't. It kicks me out after 2 seconds. I have no idea why.
Because you're not them.
Like an advert for clothes, like, because you're not them. I don't know.
I find that's true about most people. They're just not me.
They can't handle it.
I have no idea why this is the way this is.
Yeah, it's happened for like, I think 20 sessions is probably a good approximation.
That'll be the special for session 100.
We finally fix it.
That works. Figures it out.
Amazon? Why are you looking at Amazon?
I have a Twitter or a couple of Twitter pages that I follow that are just like, here's the deal, and then but like this is just,
I should stop clicking on the random Amazon things that you guys link because it's messing up my fucking recommendeds whenever I look at Amazon. Like, hey, you want to buy this fucking because like Wisen's poem book or something? Oh, that was not Amazon. That was something else.
No, that was on Amazon.
Was it? Yeah, because I got a bunch of really poor quality literature. Not saying nothing, but I am saying something.
I have bought some independent books on Amazon, and I've been more pleased than not pleased.
Independent book.
Let me change to the city.
There's this book that I think I'm gonna buy soon, but I don't know.
I should prune out some of these things. Let's see, Annapolis map. Huzzah! Alright. Alrighty. We got the map open. I'm gonna go ahead and open up Discord. And let's scroll up a bit to 98. We got a couple of memers up in here, but let's start with Alex is the first at 98. The league took some time to play tourist, learning about local history and myths, all while looking for smoke at the Morgemoth compound. That, of course, means that something went poorly and someone blew up. Pat is 98. If he comes in, then he gets his thing. If he doesn't, then we'll see. The league took I like how both of your guys' thing started with the same 3 words. The league took a look at a magical item shop to window shop. I don't like how that was phrased. Zen walked out with a miniature exact plant that makes fruit that he doesn't understand. Dan's says 98. The elderly got some new digs in the form of a miniature tree and the black canary. League Vigilante Arc inbound, Mini Mango Man and the Black Canary versus Cheap Masks and Too Many Knives. Talos accidentally became Oppenheimer, giving the gang spicy magic radiation. And the Sun wants Laszlo's soul, followed by a nice image compilation of Danny DeVito with 2 very well... Are those both left hands? Hold on. That's a left hand, that's a... Okay, never mind. You're good. You got one of each hand. Holding mangoes. And Charlie dressed as the Phantom of the Opera. And you put a beard on Danny DeVito. And a Batman symbol over the Spider-Man symbol. That is the actual costume that he's wearing.
There's layers to it. There's layers to the meme.
And Angel, I'm not counting this.
I think you should reconsider because much like Dragonborn in this game, Charizard is also not a real dragon. It's layered.
I think one of Charizard's different Mega Evolutions or something has dragon, doesn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, they have to transform into it though.
Well,
Usually it's
You have to use your Digimon power to turn into that. So it doesn't.
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
count.
That's what
We're
it
using
is.
different games. To...
That's exactly.
Well, no,
what
that's
it
what
is.
that's what the Mega Evolution is. It's just Digimon. So it's like okay.
They say that in Pokemon.
well, they have the Z moves too, where they do the fucking Sentai poses. So that looks honestly
the
more
what?
like
The what now? I say that
Sentai?
right. Oh god.
I just
Something else.
when I write my summaries, I usually like to stick to what my character did, and that's what my character.
Well, you didn't do anything. Well, we're gonna find out what you
fought
did
really
in.
hard.
Mm,
Ooh, this looks sick.
And then the rest of this is just stuff about Sunday, which is today. Let me close this, and we're gonna go ahead and let me grab my calendar, because it is the same day that we were on last session, technically, but we're going two different paths, and when they converge, it'll be on, most likely, episode 100, depending on how this goes. If it converges at all, or if we destroy the timeline somehow. So the League is resting, and their thing from episode 98, after all the shopping and whatnot, is stopping at 5:30 p.m. on the 14th of June. We're going to be starting the Dauntless arc, same day, the 14th, but at 2:30 p.m. in the clinic. Just to recap from 2 sessions previous, during that cold clinic thing, Dauntless was going to meet his parents, but primarily the patriarch of the family, over in the main house here in Anupolis. Considering the amount of people standing outside are primarily all Dragonborn of the red variety, with the exception of the guards out front who are not red Dragonborn, you decided to split the party and have Dauntless go in by his lonesome. Henry, is something wrong with your Civ?
Why?
It keeps launching. Or it
Oh,
keeps
no.
it keeps telling me
No.
that you're launching. So, Dauntless went in by his lonesome. There, the first person that he had a conversation with immediately spoke to him in Draconic. Considering where Dauntless is in his dragon lessons, it's the equivalent of being thrown into, let's say, that one African nation where they do the clicking tongue language. Right now. So just imagine you're in your comfortable chair in front of your computer and I just threw you in that country. If anything, you were not able to converse with them properly, so one of them took out a magical wand and cast Comprehend Languages on you. Of course, that isn't a very long duration spell. I believe it's only 10 minutes at the maximum. But for a moment you were able to converse with this Dragonborn who was giving you very, very rude words. Because you were not able to speak their language. Besides that, you issued a essentially explanation as to your situation, emotionally, physically, and all sorts of other lees, and eventually made your way to the clinic over here on the estate. The on-home clinician slash physiologist of the family is taking care of you as long as they're able to, in terms of you stalling so that you don't have to go into the main state. But if anything, they are the person you're supposed to be giving your physical report to anyways, so might as well get some of those things done while we're here. The doctor, who is, as you guys said, is having a beard less impressive than Zen's, went ahead and took the time to get some physical evaluation. Specifically, you questioned him about any doctors from this country slash continent that would be involved in brain surgery or anything revolving around medical professionals, considering you're speaking to one right now. The medical institute here is essentially not founded by, but is so primarily funded by the Morjamoths that they essentially have to screen every person, be it personnel or student, on the estate, to whether or not they're even essentially allowed to study or be the studier, giver, teacher man. So, very, very small prestige amount of people can be educated here in the Anupolis area. And it's not just medical, it's also all sorts of other things, some magic practitioners, alchemy and whatnot, but it's mostly magic and alchemy actually. And some herbal stuff, but that doesn't usually fall into such a large, categorically higher institution of learning thing. You kind of just go into the woods and be a hermit and mix potions until shit works for good herbalism. In any case, we're going to be jumping into just the Hualong story here at the Institute's clinic on the estate. You are sitting on one of the not operating tables, just examining rooms. The person here who is looking after you is currently going through filing some paperwork, including your medical report that you brought back. You also did learn that before the time bullshit with the Sphinx, that Princess Hualong was, what, 20-something? 27?
Yeah.
And,
Thereabouts.
but now with the Sphinx bullshit, you are probably closer to 37-ish. It's a fly in my room.
Kill it. Kill it with fire.
But in either case, we're going to be looking at Dauntless's Power Hour here on episode 99 of the Frost Campaign. I don't have a jingle, so I'm just going to clap my hands. Let's see. So, starting with Dauntless, what are you going to be doing here in the clinic at 2:30 p.m.? You already gave most of your stuff to the doctor here, and all of your doodads and medical stuff has already been filed away, so he doesn't have anything to actually examine you on, so if you want to loiter here, you best have a good reason.
So he's just filing shit in the background, right?
Yes, it's a very open space, though. There's not too many dividing walls to break line of sight, with the exception of, like, you know, like the front door and stuff.
Alright, I would also just want to clarify, I probably have, like, none of my weapons on me, because, as we learned, it's not cool to wear full-on combat gear and swords. I think the only thing I would have is... Wait, are you guys still using the scribe ball?
Don't think so. I gave it to Kalos, and I think he gave it back to you. So.
Alright. I'm just trying to, like, clarify. I probably don't have my survival knife, but I have my shovel, my canoe, panic button, and in the past, I've stuck my ice pick in the scroll case that I have, but I think that's about it. Alright. Excuse me. I raise a hand to the doctor, whose name I didn't get. I have not asked yet.
You acknowledge him, and he turns around from his desk. It swivels, and he stops on a heel so that he is facing you. Oh, yes.
When
is
I
it?
first entered the compound, another one of... I assume she is related to me, just she was also,
Nice.
you know... she summoned a like a helper, and they brought out a staff that allowed me to talk. Does anyone have access to that? Do you think that would help the situation?
What specifically are you speaking of? You said help the situation. That doesn't really tell me
Well,
much.
I mean, so I could actually converse with Father.
Oh, well, I am not a magic practitioner by trade. So, if you can muster up the courage to go speak with whomever did that to you, I'm not sure who you're referring to. There are many female of your blood here on the estate, as you can imagine.
I don't suppose I could pull you away for all of 5 minutes to help me talk to her, because she got very upset with me for talking as I am.
And what, pray tell, do you think that I would be doing to alleviate your situation?
Ask her to ask for the dick thing that'll help me?
I am employed by your family here, and for me to go about asking for them to perform feats of magic is not exactly something that I am doing very often. If anything, they would tell me to go fuck myself. In the kindest words possible.
No, I can imagine. Well, yeah, but
The most that I can do for you in terms of conversing with one of your family members is simply to give you this very brief note that explains more or less your situation. Now, that's not going to say that no one's going to snap at you for having essentially lost over 2 decades worth of pampering and tutelage, but not my burden to bear, princess.
no, I understand. I'll
Other
take
than
whatever I
that,
can do.
then I cannot do much, lest I have words to berate me with.
Understood. I take the note from him. How fancy is this note looking? 'Cause
It's
I got,
a doctor's note, so it's written in chicken scratch,
alright,
which is
well,
technically just shorthand, so don't get any actual doctors to jump down my throat. I know it's shorthand. But
Yeah,
to the
no, I
layman,
know,
to the
but I got-
layman, that's it might as well be chicken scratch.
I got shit for my last doctor's note, and that was gross looking. So
Okay, well, off with you.
I crack my neck in game as well, and I step outside.
Out of the door, you can see the rest of the estate as it once was. Around this time of day, many people are beginning to... There is a culture about here where there is a between lunch and dinner tea, essentially. Not exactly, they don't drink tea exactly, not specifically anyways. Could be anything that the people are feeling in mind, could be alcoholic, could be otherwise. But a number of the personnel around here who were probably your family by blood have gotten up from their luxurious activities of loitering around the estate and have begun converging towards the center of some sort of little offshoot building. Comparatively, it almost looks like a garage compared to the actual main estate itself, but this building could be a middle-class person's entire domicile in theory. It is a very open-aired and open-walled location, only being held up by a series of decorative pillars in such a way that it creates essentially like a veranda mixed with a picnic area sort of thing, and a number of people have gathered around here, including servants who are currently distributing eating utensils, plates, and food for use with said eating utensils. A very pleasant smell comes, and it is a freshly baked assortment of sweets, and other tiny finger foods that can be eaten with one hand so that your other hand is free to either hold on to the smoking end of a hookah pipe mouthpiece or making hand gestures as you speak.
Looking around, what are the race of the helpers?
The race of the helpers are not uniform in any state. Most of them are either human or tabaxi, sometimes a little bit of something in between.
Any
In the
orcs?
case... no, there are no orcs. Orcs around here are relatively rare. You have yet to see many in the actual towns that you've been to here on Sanctus, and orcs, in general, are relatively rare here, period. If anything, the only ones you've probably seen might have been over at the... may have been dock workers. Maybe somewhere around Raja and Locke when you were back over there. And since we've moved further inland, it becomes even more scarce. So, you're seeing mostly just the natural-born residents of Sanctus for the most part. Doesn't mean that the Morjamoths don't hire them, you just haven't seen them,
Okay.
if at all.
Okay. If I'm looking around, are there any plants?
They have decorative plants in all sorts of very nice tall vases. Many of the vases are decorated with draconic iconography, as you can imagine, depicting a dragon coiling around the tapered part of the vase, and so that the red flowery bouquet that is stemming from it kind of looks like a red dragon's fire breath. Very, very artistic.
Alright, that's not gonna help me. Okay. Of the red dragonborn, are there any that are kind of by themselves?
Many of them have converged into this picnicky area, and for the most part, all of them are standing in one cohesive red unit. Some sort of communist manifesto or something.
Are there any black dragonborns that are by themselves?
Negative.
Alright, well, I gotta bite the bullet. I go over to the veranda.
Over to this location, where your presence itself is a stark contrast to the people around here. You have significantly more equipment, not even in the form of just mental faculties, but your actual literal equipment.
Well, no, I'm not wearing my fucking armor or anything like that.
Yeah, I know, you just described to me like the 4 different potential weapons you'd have on you, though. You have a bunch of stuff slung over your shoulder, and these people are essentially
Whoa.
unarmed and unarmored.
No. Hold on. I honestly, I would have left all my swords and stabbing implements in the cart.
So then the thing you just told me that you said I would have had at least one of my weapons on me. What the hell was that about?
Oh no. When we stopped over at that one town where my cousin was, I kept the ice pick, the wand in my scroll case, just in case things got really bad. But other than that, I was kind of unarmed.
That's, by definition, not unarmed then. My statement still holds true because these people don't have anything with them. You stroll over and you have a scroll case. So you have stuff with you. So my statement still holds true.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that I'm not like a walking armory, and I'm not trying to rock up, be like, "What up?"
You enter the vicinity and you can feel an immediate air of social pressure as you enter throughout the decorative pillars that hold up this veranda. It is a very, very large wafting, perfumey smell, as you can probably imagine, as soon as you enter this vicinity. The sudden taken aback by this sheer number of perfumes and very powerful aromas hit you before you kind of blink it away for a moment, and see that everyone has essentially turned their gazes, stopped their conversations, and have all taken to glaring at you, some more intensely than others. The first thing that comes out of their mouth is unintelligible to you, as of course, as you can imagine, is in draconic speech. The one who tapped you with the wand earlier kind of nudges another person on the shoulder very gingerly and whispers into their ear hole, as Dragonborn don't have ear flaps. Whispers into their ear, and then they dart their gaze back at you once more, and the person who got whispered to stares at you and with a long silence begins to stand up from their place of seating and begins to walk around the table and towards you. Eventually getting to where you're standing at the edge of the veranda, they take out a small ring from their front middle finger, left, I meant to say, front left middle finger, they don't have more than one hand. Remove it from their finger and begin to wave it around your head like a buzzing fly, before eventually placing it in their palm and presenting it to you with a very angry look on their face.
I look at the ring, and using my right hand, I reach for it, slowly.
They allow you to take the ring, if it is up to your choosing, and as soon as they feel that the weight is gone, their hands go from presenting the ring to being crossed across their chest.
I use my left hand to put the ring on my right hand.
As soon as you put the ring on, you can feel a small flash of inspiration almost. Almost comparable to when Kalos does it to you for doing your skill checks. Almost as if a fog has cleared in your mind. You blink once, and although the world is still in the same saturation as it was before, you can feel like almost a sudden pang of intelligence has washed over you. As soon as they see that you blink and have come to some sort of realization, the conversation pick up once again, and this time you can comprehend it. Whether or not it's because they're speaking in Common or Draconic, it's safe to assume that one of two things has happened. I'll let you figure out which one you think it is, because that's your thoughts.
I exhale in game too. I'm like,
Well, along, what are you doing?
I do the chin bow.
They kind of just like stare at you and nod. Alright, with the niceties. What are you doing here?
I have been away for a long time.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be overseas. Is your marriage in shambles already?
Oh no, it's going excellently actually.
Great. Where is your betrothed, and why are you not with him?
I was injured overseas, and I can't remember anything.
Do they not have doctors overseas? I know they're less intelligent than the commoner here in Sanctus, but by God, they don't have anyone who could have treated you over there, that you needed to come back home?
I thought it would help me remember anything.
Okay, is it working?
So far, no.
And then what?
If all else fails, I go back there.
I haven't heard that you've bore any children yet. Are you waiting for someone to give you an invitation?
No.
She looks... The person speaking to you right now looks back at the person who not bonked you, cast the comprehend languages on you when you first came in here, looks back at them, back at you again, and then kind of sweeps their gaze over the rest of the table, all of whom are looking kind of like when you have a friend over and the mom comes in and starts yelling at them, and you're just the friend here who doesn't know what to do, so you kind of just clam up and just stare. In either case... Alright, so then you're trying to tell me that every single person in this room is a stranger to you.
Yes.
Wow. I'd feel hurt, I suppose. But for some reason, I just feel more angry.
My apologies.
So what are you going to do then? If you can't remember anything, you don't have any kids, and your role in this family is already kind of, presented for you, and yet you haven't fulfilled any of them. Besides getting married.
My last attempt was, from what I understand, there is a medical university here, and I thought maybe they would be able to do something, and then short of that, I would just return.
Do you know what channels you're going to have to go through to even step 1 foot in that place of learning?
I've found out, so I'm reconsidering.
Are you prepared?
I doubt it.
Are you going to be joining us for a meal at all this evening?
If you'll have me.
We would. And frankly, I'd be more interested in what Father has to say. I am quivering with anticipation. If anything, why don't we start by making sure that you can at least... Do you remember our Father's name, at least? Before you start throwing yourself in the way of oncoming foot traffic?
Odrazig.
And your birth mother?
Reverdin. I don't smile, and that was just me because I kept notes on that.
Wow. You should probably speak to your mother first.
Much appreciated.
Okay, well, you are looking a little disheveled, to say the least. Come back here when you're ready. If you even want to speak with any of your cousins and siblings. I'll let you guess who's who. And then we can start introducing ourselves. It's kind of boring around here, so I as well make it a game. For us. At your expense, sister.
I shrug. Fair enough. May I keep this for the time being? And I point to the ring.
You may hold on to that for just a brief stay while you're here, but that is my ring, and you'll be giving it back to me before you leave.
Much obliged, and I do the chin bow thing again.
Your form is atrocious, sister, but go find Mother.
Alright, before I do that, I stop back by the clinic and see if I can drop my sack of crap.
Crack? Cocaine?
No, crap.
Oh.
I guess I'm pretty much going to leave everything but the clothes on my back. If the doctor will allow me to just leave it there. In like a corner or something.
He kind of looks at you in the same way that, you know, anyone would when you just drop off large amounts of stuff in their place of business.
May I, or is this...
You don't have any other place to put this.
Not... I imagine I have a room somewhere here,
You,
but
you do. You and all of your siblings do. And your cousins.
You know what? It is my room.
Yes, you do have a room. And you may... It's relatively empty now, because we started cleaning it out since you were away. There's still some other things in there. You were sharing some living space with your siblings, so it's not all your room. But you can find a place to stow your stuff. That's not in my doorway.
Oh, sorry. I pick it back up.
I take it that you are not going to be, fleeing the scene, then?
Fleeing?
I don't know, you seemed very distressed.
I mean, this is a stressful situation, but
I'm
think
sure
it would
it
make
is.
things substantially worse to run away.
Well, good luck.
I, again, crack my neck, and I try to find my room.
You go past the open-air veranda thingy. Some of your siblings and cousins, who you still have not been acquainted with yet, kind of just glance you over as you are passing by, and you head straight a beeline towards the main estate. A very large, impressive, multi-floored building with guard patrols as far as the eyes can see. Not a single inch of this thing is not being overseen at least by one person or more at any given time of the day. As you
I
approach,
stop the first guard I see.
there are plenty of guards around here. It could be one over at the estate, around the veranda. There's even two in front of the clinic. So take your pick.
Well, I was just in the clinic, so yeah, one of the clinic guards. Excuse me.
Yes, princess.
Can you show me to my room?
Of course, princess. May I hold your items?
Yes, please. Thank you.
He slings whatever he can over his shoulder in such a way that he still has one arm relatively free to grasp his weapon if need be. He escorts you through the premises, and eventually you are
Wait.
led up.
As we're through the premises, how do other Dragonborn walk?
How do they walk?
Yes.
They're all sitting right now. They're
Do
at
I
the
see any
veranda.
of them walking?
I mean, you would have seen them walking to the veranda.
Okay, good. Do
They
they
don't-
have to be all formal, like crossed arms or anything like that, or no?
No, they don't cross their arms while they're walking. You can still let your arms swing.
Alright, then I just walk like a normal...
As long as you don't, like, do some sort of weird, like, shoulders forward monkey walk or something. Or, like, walk like you shit your pants.
Well, alright, as my mental image of how Daedalus would walk is probably the forward shoulder monkey walk, so...
That is boorish, to say the least.
half orc, kind of.
They don't do that either. They walk upright.
Are you stereotyping orcs right now, Andrew? That's fucked, bro.
Even, like, I'm trying to think of all the other orcs in different medias. They don't walk like monkey people.
Well, like, okay,
Unless you're talking about that one extra credits video where they compared them to black people.
Well, I came back at a time. What did he say?
No, my mental
Stereotype.
image for a Daedalus walk is just, like, kind of hunched over forward.
Oh, that's gonna be up to your posture, not so much your biological needs. They have...
No, I don't like...
That's Daedalus just being a freak, is basically.
Kinda, sorta.
Well, the thing about your posture is just, it wouldn't be, like, translated over by a brain transplant. It would be more up to the position and flexibility of your muscles and how they're usually resting, so...
I don't know. I feel like if you put your brain into another body, you would sit the same way you sit currently. Like, if you sit askew, like... I'm just saying.
Well, those things are more bottom-up, not top-down cognitive neurological pathways, so it's sends signals from the body up to the brain, not from the brain down,
Oh, hold on a second.
like reflexes.
Be right back.
Alright, with that attitude, or not attitude, break, you're winning, Henry?
I'm actually about to take over Shanghai. Fuck democracy, right? Fuck yeah.
I mean, China wasn't always run by the CCP, so... It used to be
Yeah.
cool before the CCP, then you had to stick up your ass.
They built this massive wall and then they were cool, and then they just weren't cool anymore.
And they had this really cool guy named Guan Yu.
Had a
Used
really
to be-
nice spear.
You used to be cool, but ever since the wall, you haven't. You've changed.
Alec, do you know the story behind the Dan? You used to be cool until
I know the quote because it's pinned in the chat, but I don't remember the exact.
Oh, dude, that shit was hilarious. That dude that had to be like top 5 best moments of D&D.
So unprovoked. I
It
don't know.
was. It really was.
What did you say to him?
What?
Oh, we're talking about the Nick Nick
copy
thing.
paste.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think that was
That
around
one-
the time, if I remember, when Nick was playing Kleptomaniac character before Raigenku. And it was just him stealing shit. could be
Rengenku.
Well,
Or
hold
no,
on.
Rengenku was at
No,
the
no.
same time.
And
Wasn't-
his stealing shit was for Kirsten's campaign, not mine.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that
thought he
was-
was just trying to do the same exact shit, and then... But, by the way, I am cooking something, but I don't need to, like, babysit it. I just gotta flip it a couple times.
That's how you burn your house down.
Okay, but I'll go back to fighting China.
China.
Jinx, Yomiko.
Obama. Alright.
So I would just try and observe how everyone else walks and not feel, like, punchy.
For the most part, it's not very difficult. Just make sure your shoulders aren't too far forward, too far back. Your gait overall is not particularly long strides and isn't really little penguin shuffles either. It's a relatively normal walk. The only thing that is really standoffish is, comparatively speaking, if your chin is on a level playing field, it's probably about like a 5 degrees facing upwards in terms of your chin posture. Other than that, you can do a relatively normal walk. Dragonborn don't have tails, so they don't have to have any weird swishing motions, as the extra weight would cause your hips to go back and forth, so everything's normal in this neck of the woods. With your guard escort, you eventually make your way towards the main estate. He takes you inside, and you are not harassed by anyone because you are one, a resident here in different capacities, not like living here in terms of taxes. But you are a member of the family, and you have a guard escort. All of these things culminate to make sure you're not harassed. Taking the flight up the stairs, you are on the second floor, and are greeted with a very nice view of the exterior of the manor, looking out over into the area you were just walking from. You can see the veranda, the clinic, and the front gate from here. You're taken by the guard over towards a room. This one is labeled as Reridan's Children. As you can imagine, you are being housed here with other siblings of yours, and presumably you can look over to other family rooms, essentially, and find the respective children's rooms for different wives of your blood father. The mothers are presumably in a separate living condition, and you might have been taken to as essentially the children's section. Doesn't mean to say that the children are that young, but people birthed by your mother are all here. Not necessarily in the room right now.
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
1, 2.
Put that on the bingo.
What's everyone else doing? Not in game, obviously, but like Dan, what are you doing?
I'm playing audience member right now. I'm just listening.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm listening and eating.
So we'll see.
What are you wearing? Slacks.
Clothes. Clothes.
She
Pants.
sounds hideous.
Khakis. She sounds sick. Well, that's a guy, so.
But like, what was the original impetus? What was the incident? Until what was
I'm
the
still
incident?
trying to recall that because
I'm still trying to recall too.
Because
To
I
be
think
quite honest
I
with you.
feel like I'm mixing up the Curse of Strahd campaign with campaign 1, Dust, because I don't remember when the Nick copy pasta was birthed. I want to say it was during my campaign. I think.
No, it was. It was. I feel like it was after. I feel like when he was about to die.
I think I just reminded them that he's not in the campaign anymore, and he got really pissy. So.
Was it? I thought it was while he was in.
If you go on the pin chat and then click to jump to it, and then you can see it.
I'm back on my headphones are not. Hold on. Alright. Okay, so I stepped through the doorway. Or is it a bead curtain or a doorway?
It is a bead curtain. For the most part, around here you can see a variety of different living arrangements. Now, this is a communal area for all of your siblings, but it is no means like a college dorm in terms of the arrangement. Dividers have been set up so that each person can have their own little segment. Furniture has been accommodated for one for each person, including bed, ottoman, a nice little armoire to keep all your stuff in, a little beauty mirror thingamajig to sit down in front of and do your makeup if you do it all. A weapon rack, even though it's currently covered in absolutely nothing. Or maybe it's just a regular rack for like rooms and stuff, who knows?
Covered
A rack
in
can be a rack for anything, as long as it has something to fit on it. In any case, it is currently being used to hold a couple of hats. Your space is relatively barren, as one, your armoire has been left slightly ajar to see that it is empty. Your bed has been made, but has no person having been lying in it for quite some time, so has been left to essentially sit there and gather dust. And a little trunk at the bed base that you can open to stow all sorts of things like a footlocker.
Thanks, I can take it from here, I say to the guard.
He steps out of the room. Well, he actually never entered. He stayed at the doorframe, but has just moved out of the way.
Alright, then I retrieve my bag from him and I go to put it in the chest. What else is in the chest?
It's completely empty. Except for a pair of slippers.
Did I see other people wearing slippers?
They take them off before they sit down.
Alright, I'll leave the slippers. I'll just put my bag in the chest.
Stowing all of your equipment in there, see that there is a another window that looks out, and you can see that instead of looking over at the front yard where everything else was, this portion of the house overlooks the backyard.
Anyone out there?
Make a perception check.
I'm fucking bad at those, I think. Yep.
My eyes, Justin. They took my eyes.
13.
There you can see over in the backyard, there's a large amount of other people there besides your family members. The number of cousins you remember seeing in the front yard estimated around 9 to 10. Not including yourself, all of whom were Red Dragonborn. Over in the backyard, you can see a variety of other people currently walking around a very nice garden. It has a relatively short, I guess you could call it a hedge maze, but it's not very good as a maze because it only comes up to like your armpit level so you can see over it. But the flowers that have been planted here are beautiful nonetheless. There you can see a large figure surrounded by way too many guards and presumably your aunties, and one of these people is probably your mom, is presumably your father, surrounded by all of his wives and a small army of guards. He is doing a patrol through this little hedge maze, inspecting...
I duck my head down.
Okay.
Only my eye. I'm doing like the
Scooby-Doo peek over the fucking...
Yes.
Sure. You wanna roll a stealth check?
Yeah. You know what? That's what we're doing. Oh no, that's disadvantage only in armor because I got plate.
Correct.
4.
Jesus Christ, even with?
As you bend down, you accidentally hit your elbow on one of the nightstands adjacent to the window and aside the bed. It jostles ever so slightly. You're not entirely sure how loud it is to the people on the outside, and as you peek over once more from this precipice and look downwards, it doesn't seem like they've given it too much mind. You do see one guard who has cocked his head over in your direction, has turned his upper body to accommodate for that. He does see you peeking out from overwards, but he kind of just like nods ever so slightly, and then just turns his body to...
I'm just gonna slump to the floor in like a sitting position.
The last thing you see from that position, before you completely break line of sight with the back garden, is your father, presumably, just kind of like holding a bushel of flowers in one hand and inspecting it with great eye for detail. And then before that, that's when you ducked down.
Oh boy. Oh, shit. Hold on. I gotta flip my stuff.
Did you guys know that it's currently triple XP in Vermintide 2? And it's currently, I think, free. I think.
Fucking, it's 5 years. Like, you still can't believe that shit.
They really want you to play.
Free weekend from 6 to 13 of March. Oh, that's tomorrow.
One of the Gears of War games, before the release of the next one, did like a ridiculous multiplier. Like right before, like I don't remember from which game to which game, but they did like a ridiculous multiplier to get people to play.
Times 17 times.
It was something like 10 times XP. Just like, hey, remember our game? You should play it a little bit. The next one comes out.
What's that?
You're echoing someone?
Is that me?
It's Alec.
Perhaps.
Okay.
I forgot to ask. No one else is in the room with me, right?
No, but it is a bead curtain, and there is the guard who escorted you here just standing on the other side of the doorframe.
Alright. I kind of get up, but being aware that the window is, like, there behind me. Excuse me.
The guard who is at your post turns his head ever so slightly, not so much to look you in the face, but to just turn his ear so that he can listen to you.
I noticed that my father is in the garden. Would you be able to bring me to my mother's room?
You have business with your mother.
I would like to see her.
At this time of day, she is currently doing... keeping attention at your father's side.
Oh, okay, I understand.
It will be not until the pre-dinner preparations that she will be away from him.
Okay. Thank you.
That's probably about in an hour and a half.
Would you be able to tell me where her room is? I know how weird that sounds, but...
Indeed it does, but I can show you her room.
Yeah, if he doesn't mind showing me the room, I'll take a look and then head back to my room.
He escorts you over, and her living arrangement is basically on the opposite end of the estate. The estate itself is relatively cubical in shape, and yours is going to be apparently on the far left, which would be essentially on the west side of the building's estate, and the opposite end, the east side, is where your mother is, or at least her living arrangement. In that regard, it is not specifically a room made for her. It is actually the patriarch's room. And he has all of his multiple wives in the same arrangement. There is a large master bed that is like almost 15 foot wide and just as long, and it rests on top of a marble pedestal and has a window, not a window, a mirror on the roof.
I don't want to see that.
Well, it's the room that you've been escorted to.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, I have another question for you, DM. I would like to wander around for the next hour and a half. I'm curious if I could find if memory serves, the little flashbacks I've gotten from this skin is that I was being guarded by another Dragonborn. I want to find someone that looks like them. Because they were not a red Dragonborn. Weren't they blue? Tempted to say? Or no, it was black and white. I couldn't tell.
Well, colors aside, you can certainly try. Most of
would
your
like to try.
cousins are out in the front, and you're not entirely sure if the person with you was either one of your cousins or otherwise. And considering the fate that happened to your original, well, the body that you're currently in, it's not entirely possible, or... well, it's not impossible that they'd be here, but whether or not they are here and in good health is to be seen.
User joined your
Well,
channel.
not finding them in particular, but finding like someone who looks like them, maybe.
Wandering around the premise is an odd thing to do. You have a guard escort given at all times regardless of where you want to go, especially if it is a relatively high security area. There is in the house as you pass by around here, although not specifically labeled, the amount of security in certain areas is significantly higher than others. What is hidden behind those doors, and I say doors as to permit the idea that not everything here is behind a bead curtain. Certain doors are heavily guarded, a lot more than others. What is behind them is something that is not readily available, and asking the guards, they just kind of stare at you and say nothing. Whether or not it's
Alright.
because they want you to know is, you know,
Better idea.
hush-hush only.
I asked the guard to show me to the family library. And my thing is beeping. Hold on, give me 2 minutes.
Air fryer.
Hi, Pat.
Hi.
Were your guests yesterday keeping you up at night?
No, everyone left around 1.
Oh.
I ended up sleeping because I went on a hike yesterday.
Well, we're playing the Andrew game here, and he's
I figured.
intermittently
Okay.
taken away by his cooking, so... Like everyone else is, I think, like Henry's playing Civ.
Yeah, I saw that.
Am I still echoing?
No.
Wait.
Nope, there was.
Yeah, it's
you
still
are.
there.
Yes.
Yes.
Whoa. That was really echoey.
I unplug the mic and then plug it back in for that brief second that
I
it does
heard that.
It's
Yeah, I
the
can still hear
speakers.
the echo now.
Still echoing?
Yeah, I can hear it really faintly.
Hmm.
Test. Eh, it wasn't there.
Test 1,
Maybe
2,
unplugged.
1, 2, 5.
Ah, yes, the 125.
The 1, 2, 5. Yes.
Missed a few.
That's probably someone's area code for when you dial their number, so...
Ring it. Go on.
I need the rest of the number.
Adam, just try it. It's a special number.
555 VICK.
Well, at least it's good to see Andrew still. Daedalus is still alive. Hasn't been executed yet.
He hasn't really done anything yet.
Oh yeah, you started at like 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Action is still young, Pat.
Who knows what will happen?
Hello? Oh, the echo's gone, by the way.
Cool.
What did you do? Fixed it.
I just gotta do that one more time, and then I'm done with that.
Oh.
Sorry.
Has to flip it over again.
No, it'll be done cooking next. So yes, I would ask for if the family has like a library on the premises. I know that.
The closest thing to a library would be what is essentially your father's study.
Okay. In that case, I'll just head back to my room.
Alright, so you can kill some time in your room by... I honestly don't know what the hell you would do for an hour and a half, but that's up to you. You can just wait and do nothing.
I'm gonna... No, that won't work. I'm just gonna meditate. And then... hope. And think. That's all I got.
Moving ahead, until eventually you notice that
Oh wait, shit!
house is on fire. Forgot to add salt.
Everyone knows if without the salt, the dish just combusts. And
What do you mean am I supposed to make battery acid and lemon juice? I don't know. I don't know what he makes in that house.
I am very sorry about that. I'm back.
Is it lemon juice?
No, I forgot to put water in the thing, or in the vegetables that I'm nuking. And I don't know if that would burn them. Probably would.
In the
I'm sure it'll be
microwave?
fine.
Yeah, well, steaming like broccoli in the microwave, you gotta put water in, because I imagine it would just fucking destroy him. I don't know.
Destroy them.
How powerful is this fucking microwave?
Well, I said for like 5 minutes, so just 5 minutes of just dry ass cooking them. Whereas like you put water in to steam them. So
Alright. Well, you can wait around in your room for an hour and a half. During that time, you hear some very faint voices from the distant back garden, and a couple from the front garden as well. Eventually, the ones from the front cease as the activities of that pre-dinner after-lunch mini-snack is concluded, and everyone goes back to their various activities. During your 1.5 hour wait here, your father's entourage of his wives and guards eventually breaks away from the garden and comes back inside. Where they're going, you're not entirely sure. He has a lot of things he can do around here and lots of places to go. Bedroom, study, they even have this really nice, essentially a hall of some sort. Think of the same kind that you would address a kingly individual, where you have a large throne for him to sit on, a large platform for his people to stand on beside him, and a lowered platform so that you really get the idea of him being physically and hierarchically higher than you as you address him, if you were to do so. But right now, it's just going to be you, and eventually someone comes into the room. They are younger looking, to say the least, relatively speaking. It's hard to tell. You're not very familiar with comparing Dragonborn to Dragonborn to get a real idea of one looking older than another one. Their skin doesn't wrinkle in the same way that people do, because the scales don't exactly... The scales don't so much wrinkle as they kind of begin to either lose some of their luster, or signs of damage from various physical phenomenon, be it sun bleaching effect, or physical damage, like being attacked, could show signs of age, relatively speaking, although scars can be inflicted on any age, but the more likely, the older. And in any case, someone walks into the room, and is presumably one of your siblings, considering what room you're currently in. It was not the one that was speaking with you and gave you the speaky ring, but they were at the social gathering just before you getting here. It was one of the non-speaking individuals. They are noticeably shorter than you by at least almost a head and a half.
I would assume that they're younger, but hold on.
Beep.
Yeah, beep. This is the last of it, so I will be right back.
He's gonna
Aren't they all younger than him now because of the Sphinx thing?
Yes, but physiological age and emotional age are different things. But don't tell that to someone who's trying to something with a minor.
Something.
You know, groomers. Oh, you're so
Well,
mature for your age. Any groomers in chat? Don't laugh at that.
Fucking Jesus fuck.
Well, since
Is
no
that,
one spoke
is that
up,
the audience that you bring up?
Since no one spoke up, that means that no one is. See, it's a litmus test. And if someone did say that, I'll be just like, got him. That's him, officer.
Here. Chris Hansen has joined the chat.
I lost that audio clip. I can still get it again, but I can put that on my soundboard. That and the Khajiit asking if you would like to purchase wares.
I love that putting a neighborhood right next to a volcano is a +6 to housing.
Tourism,
It's just
yeah.
great.
Tourism, and if you're religious,
I mean, what
Civ.
year? What's the year? Has Pompeii happened yet? Maybe it's.
No, it already happened.
do you have the natural disasters DLC?
Yeah, gathering storms or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
What's your frequency of events, like default?
Yeah, no, I have it on like a Monday
Extreme.
because
Oh.
it's funny. But like,
It's like
why?
playing The Sims and setting the rocket off in the house. You have to do it.
It just makes no sense. But I'm gonna do it because it's +6. I'll just have a builder there all the time.
And
I'll
then
be
when the
fine.
volcano erupts, the builder fucking dies.
Oh,
He gets
move 'em.
buried in ash.
Build around it. We become.
Yeah, but then the adjacent tiles are the one that gets the bonuses. And if you have the natural wonders plus religion thing, a natural wonder gives a shit ton of faith.
So when the newest person in the room walks in, I just kind of look up, hello.
Noticeably speaking, they are definitely shorter than you and possibly younger. The coloration of their bright red scales is almost like a different hue of yours entirely, comparing like a red rose to say like a pretend crayon or something. Waxier and slightly duller, as it refracts light differently. In any case, this person walks up to you and kind of like looks you over as if they are seeing you for the first time. Not familiar with your presence in both directions, you don't know who the fuck this person is, and vice versa, in that regard. Specifically, although they might know who Hualong is, not you, Dauntless. Kind of looks you over and goes towards their little bunk, which is adjacent to yours. They begin to ruffle and rummage through all of their armoire looking for something, and eventually stumble upon a little overcoat that they throw over their shoulders. It of course is bright red, as many things are in this family, besides the actual skin color, and they come around and look like they're ready to go out. Stopping at the doorframe, they turn around. Are you some sort of imposter?
No.
Are you sure?
I look at them very quizzically, yes.
Alright. So, why is it that, you don't know anything? What if someone just disguised themselves as my sister? And walked into the place like they know everything? Or maybe you're some sort of creature that can change their form.
I mean, I got hit in the head pretty hard.
Well, that's unfortunate, but you're mighty suspicious, you know that?
I can imagine.
Great. So, when you eventually say something stupid, and something bad happens to you, this might be the last time I see you, so... Alright. See you later, sister.
You too.
You do.
With a twirl and the little flutter of their overcoat, flapping in the wind as they pivot on their heel and exit the room. Whoever that was, currently your younger sibling, exits the room, and you are left there by yourself. You wait out the rest of the half hour until eventually you feel like it's time for dinner. That is being specifically told to you because your other siblings come into the room, besides the one who was speaking to you just now, come in and begin to prepare for the pre-dinner washing up, which of course involves a bath, reapplying oils and perfumes, and all that other sorts of good stuff that you've been accustomed to throughout your stay here in Sanctus. They come into the room, gather a bath towel, a specific set of new clothes that they'll be putting on afterwards, and their big wicker basket filled with all of their toiletries. As you're sitting there on your bed and they all enter, speaking to each other in very jovial manners, doing sibling things, the older... it's actually primarily females because the men are typically shipped off to oversee a town or something, so all of your siblings you've seen so far have been that of the female kind. The ones that have been essentially raised to be bargaining chips. Many of them are significantly younger than you, as they're not been prepared to be shipped out yet, and they're still in their developmental training. As they gather all of their things and look you over, one of them that was the one speaking to you earlier over at the veranda, you didn't bring anything to wash up with, sister?
No.
Okay.
Use something of yours?
This is my basket. All of these things are probably more expensive than anything you've ever seen over in that town, whatever it is you live in. So, no, these are mine. Go ask one of the servants to bring you something from the closet, but not from mine.
Understood. I get up and I go to find the nearest servant.
One of the nearest servants is doing some sort of sweeping job, and the hallway that is housing all of the different siblings. As you exit, you can see almost like a college dorm of other Dragonborn females coming out of their rooms and giggling and gossiping to each other. Just imagine a fucking sorority, because that's essentially what it is. One of the servants is sweeping nearby and is looking away from all of them as to not look at any of their persons, looking directly at the floor, and boy, this is some dirt that I need to sweep. The Tabaxi servant is available for you to speak to.
Excuse me, may I have your attention?
He immediately stops sweeping and, without looking away from the floor, changes his posture to be upright and ready to serve.
I need some things so I may prepare myself for dinner. I need to wash
Without
up.
a second word, he nods very furiously, as if to almost break his neck from going back and forth so fast. He places his broom in an appropriate receptacle, that is, a closet, and begins to, almost at a sprinting pace, go down the hallway, and you can hear him rummaging through a closet. A large basket is brought to you, in part by this tabaxi. It is filled with everything that you need. Toiletries, etc. Without a
Many
word,
thanks.
he just hands it to you and goes back to his sweep.
Alright, when in Rome, do as Romans do, so where do I see all the other Dragonborn S's go?
Thankfully speaking, this tabaxi guy has been able to get you the stuff in such a short time that you're able to follow the lead of some of the other Dragonborn cousins here. They are taking it very slow, and this is essentially a whole hour to prepare, so that being said, I've seen people take more than an hour to get ready to go places, so this is fantasy, so in any case, you follow them down towards the bathhouse that is located here on the estate. It is somewhere on the west side, located on the ground floor, and slightly away from the actual housing area. This bathhouse is separated into one for essentially the females and one for the males, and are much like the rooming here on opposite sides of the estate. So, the west side bathing place, you can go ahead and do your thing there, where everyone gets ready. Seeing as everyone here is related, there's not exactly like any... I mean, obviously between the nuclear family of cousins, or siblings to siblings, there's a bit of a thing there, but everyone here around knows each other, so it's not like these cliques that form. Although, there is some differentiation between siblings, or cousins rather, so not everyone is equal in that regard.
I would also just assume that I'm ostracized, but like...
Well, it seems to be an almost self-imposed ostracization, because as soon as you enter here, you're kind of doing that thing where you... That one kid at the cafeteria who doesn't know where to sit, so he just stands there with his basket, or in this case, a tray or whatever, and just looks where to sit. Everyone is currently washing themselves in front of a mirror that has this really nice anti-fog layer on it, so that you can take a nice hot bath and not have it mist up the screen.
Alright, I would just find the nearest open one.
You find the nearest open one, and the conversations that go on here are idle gossip about things that they've learned throughout their studies and learning to become a trade token, essentially. Manners, types of persons that they ideally want to be betrothed to, and the kind of businesses that they hope to establish in whatever country, if it is offshores, that they want to be a part of. In terms of what you are, some of them actually turn and question you regarding your involvement with the Laszlo's Pearl Divers. Now, seeing as you have very little information regarding that, you can feel free to make up a bullshit if you want. One of your cousins, presumably, as they were not seen in your mother's children's area, has begun to scrub themselves in the general proximity enough that they can speak to you without having to raise their voice. They turn to you while they're scrubbing, and while you're also scrubbing, and ask you questions like, the temperature is really cold over there. I don't think I could stand it. That's not a question. A statement.
It is cold in the outdoors, but, I mean, generally speaking, indoors, you get a good fire going.
That seems like it's too much of a hassle. I don't really want to marry someone who's from such a cold region. I'm thinking maybe someone over in Dominus. That place is pretty nice, apparently. And I hear there's these really nice magical academies. Nothing in terms of, like, on par with the one that Father tells everyone to go to. The ones that he allows to, at least. But apparently it's got some really nice accommodations for the wealthy, so... And all the poor people around there are just... I don't have to deal with them because they're separated by a literal wall.
Some of our employees are from there, and from what I gathered, the conditions there are relatively favorable.
Your employees are from Dominus. Interesting. Do they have any people there who are looking to make trade with our family? Especially magical... I would love to be married to a magical items dealer. You can have so many things to do. And although I'm not an enchanter myself, I certainly could learn. I'm a very quick book.
I can find that out.
Could you, cousin?
Kalos has a wife.
You're married to a dragonborn, your soul is being held in captivity.
Oh no, they wouldn't even look at him. He's a poor student.
I'm a poor guy. I can make you nice things.
They don't know that yet because
Hey, I gotta speak exactly, Adam. I gotta speak. I gotta just go over there, just speak sweet words, and be like, "Hey, you want this beautiful sword? Here you go." Of course.
What's Kalos' charisma score?
-1.
It's good for
Stop Laszlo, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
as the spy would say in Team Fort, seduce me. I got this bucket of chicken.
Bucket of chicken.
Anyways, your cousin during this conversation begins to ask you about like the economic situation over in Rutash, specifically speaking about pearls. You would well know that pearls outside of jewelry making are also good for things like magical spells as a material component. And they begin asking you things about, like, what's the average going price for pearls used for so-and-so? And of course you wouldn't exactly know these things, you're not nose deep in the economic status of how much a stack of pearls is, essentially. So you feel free to make bullshit up, and they might take you on your word for that, or not. But in any case, you get through this bathing scene, all censored and whatnot, with bubbles in the naughty bits, so you can't see anything. You go ahead and finish up and begin to get ready for dinner. It is during that time that you go back to your room and begin getting changed, wear whatever you need to, and everything is ready for dinner. You begin following your siblings towards a large dining hall. The dining hall itself is comparable in size to, say, almost the Jarl's Longhouse over back in Solholm, although it is not primarily made of wood and has a constantly rotisserie spit that has some sort of meat of the day and the usual company that the Jarl keeps, such as people like his entourage of people who were hand-selected by the League. Now you...
In this place, I would like to see if I could spot the cousin that I was talking to. Maybe sit next to them and not be as fucking awkward as possible.
You go into this room, and for the most part, people who are living here find that they have their own spot they like to sit in. Although you do not see any kind of name-designated area, a lot of them have already kind of grouped up into particular locations. The long table here in the center is enough to house every single person of your immediate and cousinal external family. Excuse me. Meanwhile, your father and his wives hold at a adjacent angled table, so that it makes like a capital T, the shorter end, of course, being where he sits in the dead center of it, where it intersects with the other table. And all of his 7 wives sit at a separate table. All of the cousins and your siblings are at the longer end of the T. While there is plenty of extra spacing, everyone has kind of formed on one end. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
No, I'm being attacked by an assassin.
Oh, I thought I peeked my mic for a
Well,
second.
too soon.
Oh, wait, no.
Ahead.
I don't have my dice out.
Zen's also in this castle.
Oh, Sass!
Again.
Zen just pops out of a wine barrel. It's just fucking...
I mean, you have that rogue stealth score.
So, all
Apparently
of
I'm still being attacked.
For the most part, the cousins and your siblings, though, have essentially congregated into one... Oh, not gelatinous, but, one area of the table. It does leave a couple of empty tables, or chairs, rather, on this long end of the table, and if you want to sit at one, you could look like that one weird kid who was sitting all by his lonesome at the end of the table. Or you could get to the nearest open one that's directly next to someone. You might have an empty space to your immediate left or right, but at least
I'll take that one.
Sure. You sit down and one of your cousins nearby. None of whom have you been directly addressed to by name, or whatever, because they just refer to you as cousin, sibling, sister, or they already know you as all along. But you have not gotten the chance to introduce or get their introduction yet, because they made assumptions already on their end. So in that regard, you are at a slight disadvantage. They know you, you don't know them. Your cousin here is dressed in a very, very beautiful gown. It is culturally appropriate in such a way that the colors of the Morjamoth family have superseded the gold and purple that is the Sanctus unofficial national colors. But in either case, you sit down, and all of these very nicely dressed and well-smelling people have all gathered around and are doing rich people things, talking about money, and social status, and cats. That's what rich people talk about.
Actually, that's a good question. Does anyone have a pet? Like, have I seen any?
Many people around here do have pets, although they're not at the dining table right now, because that's kind of unsanitary. But you have seen a different number of mostly cats. That seems to be the predominant pet around here in Sanctus, period. Not just in the Mordremoth family estate. The exotic types of birds that have either been imported or otherwise are set in particular locations around the estate. Again, not here in the dining hall. But you've seen a variety of animals, colorful in nature, and heavily scrutinized for color palette. Many of them have some sort of red, including the cats. And birds. And like 2 dogs. But most of the dogs you see here are on guard duty.
I had to step away earlier. Did we get a description for Odrazig?
No?
Big.
Purple.
Nope, he's red.
Gotta ask.
Are there purple dragonborn?
Oh, I get what he's hinting at.
No, he said purple as in alien scum.
Prince.
Oh.
I said alien scum. Xenos.
Whoa.
I mean, they would be.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you sit here with your cousins and siblings. Dinner is served in a series of 5 different portions, or steps, essentially. Starting off with the tiny little salad and finger foods, and escalates until you get to the final entree, and then finishes off with a beautiful dessert. All of which seems to be... Each bite would probably be more expensive than anything the League has really been eating.
More
normally.
expensive than free gruel?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
More expensive than the fancy restaurant?
Yeah, and all the infinite honey that Zen can produce from his beets.
All I'm saying is that they ain't eating that, so they're missing out.
Dwarf brand honey.
I think they're missing out. Listen.
I grow only the finest good berries. Thank you very much.
Well, all of those are technically free, so anything is more expensive than free. So, it could be 1 gold, it could be 200, who knows. But all of these things are served in very, very normal looking proportions. Nothing is grandiose and isn't those kind of fancy finger foods where you get like 50 calories worth in a single meal, and that's all you get in those extra fancy restaurants. But in either case, is there anything you want to do while you're eating your meal?
Use my right hand and avoid dairy like the plague.
There are a variety of exotic cheeses that are on a wooden platter that is passed around by your cousins, and as soon as it gets to you, you politely decline. And not everyone is eating cheese, so as soon as it passes to you and you decline, it's not really a big deal. You just put it back on the table.
Maybe it's genetic.
In either case, as soon as you are finished with your meal, you can see that all of the cousins, as soon as they finish and dessert is done, they're the first ones to leave the table. Servants are still around to do the cleanup duty, and your father and his wives are the ones that stay, more or less, till everything else is concluded. Those of them who are able to imbibe alcohol responsibly have stayed behind and are currently just chatting it up over at the Patriarch's table.
Are any of the wives, like, staring at me?
Most of them have turned their attention towards looking in Odrazig's general direction. Not so much directly at him, but just such a way that it is noticeable that anyone on the outside looking in would see that, well, that's how it do. That's how it be. Some of them are just very casually eating their desserts in small, tiny morsels, very daintily in such a way. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. Uh, 15.
You on occasion see one of them glancing over at you before glancing back to her original position. This one is... If you're looking at Odrazig in the middle of the table, it's on his left, second from last. So it would be on your right. Still second from last.
What sort of look am I getting?
Make an insight check for that one.
23.
It's a very quick glance. It barely even turns her head. It is the same kind that you would look over as to see that, you know, just checking the door to see, like, if a friend was coming in. But in this case, it is just a quick glance, turns back immediately. Barely only the eyes really move. But from this glance, you get a feeling of... a little bit of anxiety.
Interesting. Oh, wait, no, that would be my mom. Okay. Well, no, because I was remembering... I thought mine was the 4th in line, so it's like, why is the 6th being all cagey? And it's like, no, wait, mine is the 6th. I would leave the table when it is appropriate.
Most of the other siblings have already gone, so you take the time to vacate as soon as the last 2 or 3 are deciding to finish their desserts and go back to whatever business they have around here. As soon as you get up to leave, where do you go?
I'm gonna go... and... I'm gonna go to the garden.
You go out towards the garden. There you can see, of course, there are the guards on patrol, and the lights have begun to be alight, or lit, so that it's not completely pitch dark. It's later in the evening, and sunset has not quite fallen upon you, as we are in the later parts of the year, where the sun stays out longer. That being said, the guards are just getting ready for the late evening. Torches are lit, and certain portions of the garden are basked in a healthy glow of orange and yellow. The flowers around here are exotic in nature, and some may be native to this continent. You're not entirely sure. There you can see that it is not yourself there, and not just guards. A number of your cousins, the especially younger looking ones, who are only about maybe like come up to your armpit in height, are currently just playing tag, I guess. Using the hedge maze bush thing as a slight deterrent from immediately being able to tag each other. One of their mothers, presumably, maybe one of your aunties, is currently standing away from the garden, but in just such a way that she can overlook what is presumably her children.
I'm gonna sit down and just watch, but like look forlorn.
You sit down at one of the nearby benches that overlooks the garden. There you can see that people come and go. The children eventually tucker themselves out and return back to their mother, who embraces them under the crook of her arm, one each. If anything, they seem to be completely tired out, and the mother begins to escort them back towards their dormitories. There's a brief lull in the area where only your presence and the guards are really around here. Whatever your other cousins are doing, or siblings, might be inside the house, preparing to go to bed, doing some sort of prayer or something, who knows.
Sorry, I'm like genuinely deciding what to do. I kind of wasn't sure. I didn't want to plan too much for this in case things went sideways, so I'm thinking. Alright, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna start heading towards the clinic.
You stand up and pivot on your heel so that you can go towards the opposite end of the estate. You can either go through the house or around it, more or less the same distance, kinda, and begin getting towards the clinic.
I'll go through the house.
As you pass by, of course, there's guards stationed there and cousins going to and from different stations. Some of them have their bodies really, really oiled to hell and back. Almost looks like if you held a candle next to them, they would almost engulf. But they're red dragonborn, so who fucking cares? Putting on face lotions and creams and whatnot. As you pass by, you are suddenly in a door frame, and a series of 2 other personnel are also trying to pass through the same door frame. So you get to that really fun situation of, no, you, after you, no, after you. But it turns out one of these persons is, or actually both of them, seem to be 2 of the people who were at the head table earlier at dinner.
Are either of them the one that was glancing?
Nope.
I step out of their way and allow them to go.
As you step out of the way, they don't immediately go through the threshold of the doorframe. One of them kind of steps forward so that she's more or less up in your face. Not like, I'm square up, son, but like, close enough to be in speaking distance without having to yell or anything. Now there's a face I haven't seen in quite some time. And that face is covered in all sorts of scars. What have you been doing over there, dearie?
I was injured. I can't remember anything. I wanted to come back and see if maybe this would help jog anything, and so far all I've done is embarrass myself.
Well, your embarrassment stems to the rest of our family, so whatever you do, don't make too much of a fool out there. You're representing us, after all. Now, you say you don't remember anything, and yet here you are. So, how did you make it back here, if you don't remember anything?
My husband's company was able to rescue me, and when I came on continent, my uncle Akitheth graciously took me in, and his staff were able to train me somewhat.
What a shame. You look a lot older than I remember you being when you left. It's only been a couple of years. I can count it on a single hand. Are you eating healthy?
It has been a rough couple of years.
It's been 2, honey. 2 years. Whatever you've been doing over there is turning your scales dull and gray. You're full of scars, and you don't remember anything. Frankly, I almost feel sorry for you. And that's not even the second half of it, where the fact that all of that tailoring you to be a good wife is completely gone out the window, I presume?
Somewhat.
And what is it that is decorating your forehead?
It's...
Doesn't look like a tattoo.
No, it's just... I'm not entirely sure. It's part of my faith in Osiris.
Well, we all hold faith in deities around here, honey, but none of them have manifested in a literal, and she begins just pointing at your forehead. And that's not even the whole of his symbol. It's only one half of it. You're missing the other one.
Oh.
You might want to finish up your Osiris knot tattoo. It looks odd without the second half. Have you spoken to your mother yet?
No, I have not.
Oh, she's been worried sick because you haven't chimed in for a year and a half, and suddenly you pop up out of the blue with very little in the ways of forewarning. We only got the message from one of your relatives that you presumably passed by here before getting to our estate, that you were coming in the first place. And considering what you just told me, you're going to give your mother a heart attack if you tell her everything you just told me right now. So choose your words carefully if you do speak to her. She was worried sick.
Have you seen her within the past hour or so? She seemed
She was
busy.
at dinner.
I didn't know if that would be appropriate to.
Well, what she's doing now is her business. We are going to just head down to the baths for another soak before we head down for the bed for the evening, but wherever your mother is, I'm not entirely sure.
Much appreciated.
They kind of narrow their eyes at you, and then for a brief moment they kind of just like look back at each other. The one that was directly conversing with you points at the second person who has not as of yet spoken, and well, since you don't know anything, we can at least start with a couple of names, pointing at the other one that's not her. This is Shishing, your auntie.
I look
Second
up-
wife.
I give her a chin bow.
And she points to herself. Fifth wife, Papyrus.
Chishing and papyrus,
Papyrus.
like potpourri.
Pope Iris. Imagine you mixed Pope and then Iris.
Gotcha. Chishing second, papyrus. Got it. I give her a chin bow as well.
In any case, they depart from you and go back down in the direction of the bathhouse, leaving you towards whatever it is that you were going to do.
Well, I can't. Gotta go see the mom. Are there any guards nearby?
Everywhere.
I just whatever the nearest guard is. Pardon me. Can you take me to my mother, Raridan?
He looks out the window that he is nearest by, not entirely sure exactly whereabouts of your mother is at this evening, so he just takes you around the estate for what seems to be like almost 10 minutes of just looking around key locations to see where your mother would be. In any case, eventually it gets to the point where you are found at your father's study. There you can see that, one, you can have, the door is closed. This one does have a door. And he peeks in just for a moment after knocking, and he pokes his head in, immediately comes back out, turns to you. Your mother is in there, with your father.
Thank you.
He
Right,
nods
right,
and leaves.
You said this was a door, not like a bead curtain door.
Correct.
I knock on the frame, like very gingerly.
You can hear a couple of light footsteps until eventually a door opens. There you can see a slightly worried in the face looking older dragonborn female. She looks you dead in the face as soon as she cracks open the door, and kind of almost flings the door open with her other hand as soon as she sees your face. As soon as that is open, you can see the interior of the study. One, a very large desk, piled up with papers and books, and all sorts of writing implements. Sat behind there is Raridan, sorry, not Raridan, Ajazig, currently looking downwards, and is currently stamping with a, pad of ink, and then stamping papers, putting it to the side, repeating the process. He doesn't so much as look up, even as the door opens, and you are faced with what is presumably your mother Raridan. She stands there, holding the door open with one hand, in such a way that you would need to duck underneath her arm if you wanted to actually enter the study. She's kind of just holding the door open and leaning up against the other side of the door frame with her other hand.
Using my eyeballs, I kind of like look into the study and like give her a quizzical look.
Using my eyeball.
I don't know how else to describe that motion besides that's what I
Oh.
do. Like do I go in? I don't say that, but like using my eyes and eyebrows.
I'm gonna have to break this to you.
We don't have eyebrows.
You don't have eyebrows. You have a brow ridge,
Got him.
but you don't have eyebrows.
All right. So,
Pranked.
see, this is what I'm talking about with the muscle memory thing. Like, I feel like as someone who had eyebrows at one point, because that was the physical structure of my head.
But
Although
wait,
it has been some time.
do orcs have eyebrows?
Do orcs have eye? Yeah, because they have hair. They have to,
That is true.
I think.
But now you're questioning it.
Is everything I've known just not real?
To be fair, my brain is well traveled. I don't know.
Were you about the character? Like, maybe
Yes.
Princess might travel quite far.
Raridan looks over at you, and then, still holding her posture at the doorframe, goes down to a low whisper with her tone. I'm gonna stage whisper in this regard.
Uh-huh.
Now is not a good time. What is it you need?
Nothing. I just wanted to say hi to you, but I can come back. And I kind of start to shuffle away.
She clears her throat and immediately causes her, your father, her bespoused, to look up from his desk and look in your direction. Seeing you standing in the doorframe and having Raridan holding the door open, he kind of clears his throat as well. Let me get the deep voice filter, hold on.
Testing. Nope, not this one.
I think they took it off my fucking board. Unless I just can't find it.
We've got to use the minion one.
I'm not using the minion one for the most powerful man on this continent.
What?
Well,
Banana.
I'm not going to say you have to do the minion one, but like, if he's the most powerful man on the continent, does it really matter what his voice sounds like then?
He sounds like a minion.
Well, I don't want him to
So-
fucking sound like a minion. Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I'm not saying it has to be the minion. I'm just saying it can be like literally whatever. It's like,
It can't be whatever, Andrew.
well, it's like the fucking Goodfellas. Like, am I a clown? Do I amuse you? Like, Joe Pesci is like a head shorter than everyone else, but like they're not gonna fucking.
That's
joke about it.
actually
They'll
true.
Just fucking kill them.
Bunny how? Wow.
Let's do this one.
Ooh.
Darth Scion one.
Or maybe this one.
Gary Geralt, got it.
Looking up from his books, he looks over and kind of gives a small finger gesture to Raridan, who steps away from the doorframe and then sits down at a corner chair that is adjacent to his desk. She sits down and then kind of looks at you directly in the face, as if to say, "Stop standing in the doorway like a gibbon."
I come in.
You see Adrazig give a wave with his hand at you. You can interpret that how you please.
Like, hold on, my camera was still muted. Like this wave or like this wave?
With the back of his hand, mostly using his fingers.
So that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I turn around and go out.
Close the door behind you. That's what that means.
Oh,
Alone.
Understood. Then I come back and close the door behind me.
Have you anything to report to me? Something of great importance that you are here, back at home, rather than where you've been so carefully chosen to be betrothed in?
Yes, Father. And I take out the dwarf doctor's medical note.
Without a moment's notice, your mother runs over, grabs it from you, and then shuffles it over to your father. He takes it in one hand and begins to read it as slowly as he pleases. The whole meantime that he's reading it, there's a dead air that hangs over this whole room. He eventually puts it down and clears his throat.
Disappointing to say the least. There are many things that were put into your raising as a child to get you to be in the right position to represent our family. And now that's out the window. Several hundreds and thousands of Samir potentially wasted on tutors, education, all sorts of other things that I won't bore you with right now. And I'm currently doing some very important paperwork, so I'll keep this short. You're going to need to make it up in the shortest time possible. You understand?
Yes.
And you are in a sort of position that makes you a bit freer to roam around. And I'm to understand that you are seen more combat than your siblings and cousins.
I would look up at this. Yes.
Not only that, but it seems that you're representing one of our higher up deities.
Well, and I kind of scratched the thing in my head. Yes.
If that is so, then you and your companions, the ones you came in here with, you take them. You're going to be going on a little journey. And if you don't make it back, well, you'll probably be dead. And in that regards, I haven't lost anything more than I already have, considering you have no idea who you really are. You'd be no use to be dead or your current state. And with what you are able to do now, I don't think that this would be too much of an issue. I feel something has changed more than you let on. If you don't speak in the same way, that's already the first thing that tips me off. Said, well, we did hold a strong religious affiliation. Nothing of that sort. So, I'm going to direct you. And I'm going to put this in the simplest fashion possible. Our family has a great reverence for dragons. There are many ceremonies that we do annually that revolve around achieving one step closer to draconic ancestry. Under normal circumstances, we would hire out someone from either the guild merchants or very well-known adventure parties. I'm going to put that task on you for this year.
I nod.
Good. The ceremony revolves around ingesting of draconic blood from an actual dragon. Sources of that are in very short supply, as you can imagine. They are not something that is easily come upon by just tripping upon it in the street.
Is Henry there? Or is he excited?
Don't worry,
Me
I
saying that
muted
we
my
don't
mic
just
for a
Stumble
reason.
Yeah,
upon
okay,
dragons.
I nod.
And the title blood is very, very important. It must not come from any lesser wormwing, such as those disgusting wyverns, or God forbid you be one fool who tried to check me with kobold's blood. He's dead. This must come from a very well aged dragon.
Adult or bigger.
Oh, that's what he says.
No, I'm just saying that for
Oh,
meta,
okay.
for meta. That's why I turned the thing off. So you can't get it from a wormling or a young dragon.
Yeah, I don't think the League is going to just resort to baby murder.
I don't know.
Oh, we almost
Session
did.
1, child drowning.
That was an
How did we?
Hey,
How did
hold
we?
on.
What did we have to do to kill that mushroom? We had to kill a child first.
That
So
wasn't a
that,
shot.
yeah.
Just let him in. Just
I'm
let
just
him
saying, the league isn't
That was
ageist in that regard.
self-defense.
Not
Alright, the
ageist.
first was an accident, the second was self-defense.
The first one was not an accident. That was fucking Dovey.
Oh,
Was
that was.
being-
Listen,
was
that guy
purposeful.
isn't.
No,
That guy
very
isn't here
specifically,
anymore.
he slept the kid, and then the kid fell into the water. It's not.
All right,
Didn't
but you're in a
mean to
sauna.
kill him.
What do you think's gonna happen if you just fall asleep in a sauna?
Look, I'm just saying, there's
Or
a
not
reason we
sauna,
differentiate between murder and manslaughter.
Well, dead kid at the end of the day is a dead kid. Anyways, put that on my tombstone. Please don't.
Adam, dead kid's a dead kid.
Dovey, dude, the difference to Dovey is just like, can I count this one on my scorecard?
You can't rip a face off in
Yeah,
public.
like
I
a
wouldn't
nice
try
pair
and
of
kill him.
socks or whatever you'd say. Fucking jeez.
You understand your task.
Yes.
The quantity that we need, low. Have one of the servants get one of the receptacles.
Understood.
And then once you do that, we'll see about making sure that you are not evicted from this family. Otherwise, you'd be no use to us.
Absolutely.
You can consider the contract with you as those proud divers terminated otherwise. So, you have a lot riding on your shoulders. While,
I have to do what I have to do.
Without another word, he goes back down to stamping his papers, and your mother gets up out of her chair and, kind of like a very, very worried stewardess, she begins to almost like usher you out of the plane.
Well,
She
it's fine.
She issues you out of the office, or the study rather, and closes the door behind her so that she is also standing outside of the study. With a worried face, she immediately embraces you in such a way that you are, you know, it's a hug. I don't know. Take over
I
it what you will.
I return the hug. I'm not going to let this poor grieving woman, like, or potentially grieving woman, like, I'm not going to do that. I return the hug.
Do you understand how worried I was about you? You didn't contact us for almost 1.5 years, and then you just come in here, and you look like you've got into a fight with every beast in that damn country we sent you to.
I forgot myself.
I can tell. You're not speaking the same, and you have your sister's ring. And I know for a fact that you're not speaking Draconic right now. Frankly, it's disheartening in many ways. As a mother, and as a member of this family, all of these things are very, very troublesome. And considering what your father just told you that you're going to do, you might get killed.
I could have been killed at any point off continent. I could have been killed if a meteor struck the Earth and wiped us all out. I could have been stabbed in the street. I'm going to take that risk for this family.
You have several siblings, but I will not say that any one of you are loved more than another. However, you are the one who has given me the most grievances in the last couple of years. Even before this happened, you were kind of a troublesome child. And now this is just adding icing onto a cake that is primarily made of dirt. So whatever you do, you come back to me alive, and you come back to this family. I wouldn't call you a hero, because this is something we do every year.
Well, I'll come back with a dead dragon.
You don't need to kill the whole dragon, just get the blood to fill the container. We've gone through this before, and it has ended up being economically beneficial for the party giving blood sometimes. You don't have to kill the dragon. We've traded gold for it before. We've taken it from off-continent. I'm gonna give you this word of warning. Dragon don't like Samir. Samir's made of paper and it doesn't last very long. They want gold. Or jewels or items. Something that lasts long. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever things you've drummed up, if you can get away with it in a peaceful way that doesn't put your life at risk. Whatever happens to your guardsmen, I don't fucking care, okay? They can be your meat shield and you get out of there alive, as long as you come back to us alive. However you get it done with you alive. Even if your friends have to hold open the rib cage of the dragon while blood pours out and then you catch it in a container and flee. Whatever you need to do. I don't want to hear about your body being added to that thing's horde.
I kind of glance off to the side at that.
You
yeah,
wink at the camera.
Won't happen again.
Sorry?
Metaphorically speaking.
Okay. Well, you're looking a bit more muscular than I last saw you. Are they feeding you a lot of meat over there?
Guys, it's been lifting.
Not particularly, but to heft a weapon, you do need to have some oomph behind it.
And you're doing physical training like that? That wasn't part of how we raised you. We were expecting to be, you know, living life lavishly and free of the woes of being a person who goes out and murders things like this. We usually hire people for that sort of thing. And you should have the money to do so, unless stated otherwise. Is your husband across the seas giving you enough money to spend?
Yes, he's given me plenty.
Good. I don't want to hear about him being stingy. We've given him a very equitable deal. For both parties. For his pearls. Okay. Well, do that as soon as you can, so that your father can be in a better mood but next time you speak to him. If you can, let me know when you're coming back. I'll try to get him into an even better mood before you arrive. See what we can do so that he accepts the receptacle of blood. And, you don't have to be, banished from this family. Because that'll be bad for both you and your husband.
Understood.
Okay. Well, I have still business to do with your father in there. You go and... well, I didn't read what was on that note, but I feel like you were sick? Is that what it is?
Head trauma.
Head trauma, oh my god. And she kind of like traces her thumb across your face as if to like, you know, check for flu or something, like check your temperature, and then like immediately hits the scars on your scalp. And she begins to like go over to the side of your head and like inspect it further by leaning in. This is not how I raised you. Are you getting into fights?
I look at her, I kind of like look at her like, are you fucking crazy? I assume I wasn't raised to be beaten about the head.
No, but you're getting into tussles.
I was kidnapped.
Is that what's on the note?
When I was on continent, as I was being shipped to the Pearl Divers, we were attacked.
She hugs you once more as if this sheer squeezing of her arms is enough to make the trauma go away. Or make...
I pat her, but I'm still kind of fucking pissed at this woman telling me everyone can just die so I can get blood. I'm not happy about this, but also not gonna let this woman fucking die on the inside.
Maybe we should have kept you on continent. Your little sister's gonna probably stay here too. I don't want any of my kids going off continent anymore. Okay, fine. I don't like this as much as any other parent would, but your father's already spoken, and I can't double check him on those words. And, I honestly don't know where you're going to find this. We have always usually outsourced this to other people who are willing to risk their necks for this. But seeing as how your father has decreed that you are to one to do it, I am willing to help out a little bit. I'm not sure how. I am not a dragon hunter, or whatever they call them. And whatever facilities they have around this city that can potentially help, maybe you can put some of those expenses in our name, within reason. If your father gets back and you purchased something that cost upwards of like 500,000 Sumir, that's probably going to be a big deal. So, use your head. As damaged as it is right now.
I kinda tapped the scar way ahead of you.
Don't think that I'm not happy to see you. I am. I very much am. And to see that you are at least walking, breathing, talking in the wrong language, at least. Are you doing anything about that?
I'm working on that.
Great. It sounds disgusting right now.
What does it sound like?
It sounds in the same way that a dying wolf gurgles blood and yelps. That's what your current speaking tone is like. Common tongue is reserved for exactly that. Commoners.
Ah.
So, next time that you come back, maybe if you can, you know, try to speak a little bit of the father tongue. That would be great. You seem to be well perfumed and bathed. Your attire is fine. But there's also this... You don't have the air of importance that we expect from our family. You seem meek, almost. Your words are coy. Almost as if you are... lower on the rung of society. You have no confidence. And that's something I definitely know I would have raised you with.
I understand. I just simply don't remember.
Well, I'm telling you now, so if it finds its way into the way you speak, that would be a good thing for our family. When you're addressing the help, or anyone who knows of our name, which most people do, they expect to be spoken at by someone who is in a position of authority. Not as strong as your father's or any of the other males of this family, but you still hold a great deal of economic power. Even if it's not in the presence of your husband. Don't forget that. Okay, off with you. I am still doing some business with your father.
Uh, understood. I'll be back with the blood.
Good.
I give her a thumbs up.
She narrows her eyes and like, what is that?
Sorry. Blood. And I walk away.
You've learned some very, very interesting hand motions there, Hualong. I would keep that to your friends over in Rutash. Whatever that means to them is interesting to us. She closes the door behind her as she enters the study, leaving you out there with one of the guards nearby. He is not holding a container that is supposed to be holding the dragon blood, but you were issued to at least find out where you can get that said container.
Yeah, I walk over to the guard. I need the blood box container.
Right away, ma'am. You can either follow him to the warehouse where it's stored, or you can wait here for him to get it for you. Either way,
I go to the warehouse.
you follow him to this warehouse. It is a, little... Well, I say little, but it is a warehouse.
What's in there?
It is filled with all sorts of cool things. The first thing that I will mention, of course, is the dragon blood receptacle. It is a very, very nice earthenware jug with 2 handles that are symmetrical on either side. It looks very, I would say, Greek in fashion, in terms of real-life comparisons. Like the one in the Hercules movie with the talking fat ladies.
Yeah.
Or singing fat ladies. What are they called? The Fates or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, before you continue, I gotta use the bathroom. Be right back.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Why can't someone else go to the bathroom for him?
Actually, you know what? Now that he's going, I'm going to.
Oh, he was saving China.
China. No, he's fighting China. I don't know what faction he's playing as, but...
He's saving them by liberating them, Adam. It's
From their
the
mortal
way.
coils.
Exactly. You understand what better? That whole time, I could not think anything other than Joe Biden with that fucking voice, because we had said it the other day.
Oh. Well...
Well, let me tell you something, Sonny. Hairy legs. Get out of my room.
Chocolate chip.
Do I need to try dragon sauce? Dragon sauce. Dragon sauce for my hot dog. What flavor's that?
Soda!
That's the paperwork he's doing, his soda orders. Alright, I need to go help Sleepy Odrazig. Bye.
This is fun. This should be fun. Fun little quest for us to.
Sigma male grind set is what we need to be getting on. We'll be winning.
We don't have a lot of gold. Oh, I don't have a lot of gold.
I don't know. We could woo a devil, we could woo a dragon.
We're not wooing a dragon. We're
This is just
murdering
gonna become a
dragon.
game.
I don't
this
want
is
to
just-
murder a dragon.
This is just gonna become a game.
We don't even
of,
know that that's the thing. So it's like,
Well, we were just urged not to murder the dragon.
I'm not gonna murder nothing.
Okay, I am back and ready to be described at.
I've already told you one description. That's of course of this dragon blood receptacle. An earthenware jug that has been painted to be dark red. For blood.
How
You
big
know?
be it?
It is the size of... Hold on.
Adam has a real prop right here.
Alright.
Is it
Well,
just
like-
me, or does like the background look like a person in Adam's closet? Like the top of it being like a head and like an arm.
Well, it's a scout uniform.
Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
uniform. It's got the uniform here, and then above it is an actual hat.
Yeah, it
So
looks like
does
a
make
person.
it does make a...
looming in the.
I mean, the... Oh, actually, no, right, not
Yeah,
even-
I'm on about
not
the
even-
black
not the uniform,
figure
this
in the.
part over
yeah.
here. Because this little white part, that's
The
a
head, yeah.
sleeve, but it makes it so that it looks like the break between the arm and the torso.
Yeah, that's what.
And then
I
up
was-
here is a head, so it does look like a spooky man behind me.
Yeah,
And if I turn around and scream, I'm gonna...
Run
I'm
at
scared.
them.
Look, it's
Punch
not
them.
real.
Well, if it moves, I'll tell you. Okay.
Well, look, if you got to use the power of your cognition to imagine something that would just beat it up. That's how you deal with it.
Adam will be there. He's just gonna change it. He's scared. Oh man.
Okay, so I got this trash bin, right? And this
Just
is
throw
a
it in.
this is a 12-inch ruler. And there's
Like
a
a
little
bucket.
Oh, that's a pretty big bucket.
This is my trash bin, so that's 12 inches
Trash.
there, and that's another 4 inches, so it's 16 inches tall.
Carryable. Yeah.
It's got
Okay,
handles
so
on the side.
So I need a bucket of blood.
Got a bucket of chicken.
Yeah. That's how we win. Maybe they'll really like chicken.
It does have a cork stopper on the top, so it doesn't just spill out when you tip it over. And it has dragon-esque motifs on it, drawings and etchings, so that it looks like a dragon body, and then the neck goes up towards the neck of the container, where it eventually stops at the cork, and that cork kind of looks like a severed neck stump. So-
Charming.
So, in the warehouse, you have all sorts of other crap in there. Most of it is mundane items. You have an entire shelf in there for toiletries. It is a lot. It's like 3 shelves of it, one left, front, and to the right.
It's a lot
And
of
then-
toilet paper.
I mean, it's not just toilet paper, but, you know, toilet-based items.
Thousands of toothbrushes.
Well, it's mostly like perfumes and bath salts and soaps.
I eat the bath salts! Gonna grow strong and kill a dragon.
It's also a packet of those silica gel packets. Like, I'm escaping the simulation.
Dude, I've been looking at Astral Project, so I'll just fucking eat
Eat the
bath
silica
salts and
gels.
silica gel.
An entire shelf of toiletries. Another one has these, what are essentially, molds for pouring liquid metals into to make shapes. Many of them are probably used for jewelry, as you can imagine. So they have like little rings that are about long enough that could fit around like a humanoid's neck.
How big is this thing?
Well, they're essentially like stone slabs with carved out portions of it that you pour liquid metal into.
Would I be able to pick one up?
Yeah. They're like 10 inches by 10 inches in some regards, and they're made of solid stone, so they're heavy.
I look over to the guard. Can I grab one of these?
No.
Okay.
As you pass by, the warehouse is also filled with all sorts of unmarked crates. However, they are on shelving units that do have labels on them themselves. Some of them are labeled with box of, and then ... and then like underneath the one that says like box of pearls, rubies, emeralds. And the size of the boxes vary. Some of them are about the size of like a shoebox. And other ones are like an industrial size crate that you would ship like sand in. And that one is just filled to brim with like, what's it called? Garnet. Particular type of relatively lower end, relatively speaking, precious gems. Of course, there's like a box of diamonds, box of pearls. You recognize the pearl one to have a shipment label from your dude's company. Yeah, I recognize that guy. Let's see.
I'm not touching the gems, though. I'm not.
Gold in the form of bars that can be either smelted or done so otherwise. They're the typical trapezoidal shaped bars of gold. Silver too, because those are both used in precious metals. For jewel crafting, there is a very, very small amount of weapons and armor here. Most of it is looking like it's not for use by the guards, because it is one, not part of the uniform, judging by the attire that is the armor here, and two, probably more expensive than all of the guards and their houses respectively combined. Because one of these things is in a vertical housing with a crystalline glass display case, and a great sword that is being suspended by two little golden hooks around the crossguard so it can not touch the floor of the display case. But it looks to be incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
And there's also another display case immediately to its left that has a matching, well, it's seemingly matching, judging by the color palette and the style, of some sort of a torso piece that looks kind of like a gladiator's torso piece, if you're familiar with, like, a Greek hoplite.
Black Iron set.
Sorry?
Black Iron set.
Black Iron? From Dark Souls?
Yeah, Tarkus is. He's got like the skirt on his chest piece.
Yeah, but doesn't look nearly as heavy as Black Iron Tarkus. It looks like it would be comparable to a medium armor piece, specifically the breastplate, in terms of gameplay. And it has a matching helmet and these really nice greaves. Doesn't seem to have anything from the lower half, but seems to be like a matching pair, judging by the style.
I asked the guard, who's this for exactly?
This was a present, part of the marriage contract for one of your older cousins. She was shipped over to a very prominent individual who lives in Dominus,
Oh, that makes sense.
and this was a present as part of the arrangement. The item itself is, honestly, I have no idea what it does or how expensive it is, but for the most part, no one ever takes it out of the display case. And whether or not your father uses it, I'm not sure.
I'm not gonna push my luck or even ask, honestly. So thank you though.
As soon as you're leaving, he also gives you a really nice padded interior case to put the vase in, or the dragon blood receptacle.
Bucket.
Blood bucket, sure. It's a wooden crate that has been essentially perfectly fitted for that specific blood bucket, and it has a velveteen-lined interior so that it doesn't jostle back and forth inside of it, and it rests perfectly like a glove inside of that container. Although the container itself is made of wood, it is very well lacquered and sanded down to be having smooth edges, and has a little indentation on the side that you can use as a carrying handle. In that regard, you can keep all of those things with you, and the guard escorts you out of the warehouse, although he doesn't exactly just shove you out, but he's just like, "This way, madam."
Thanks.
Alright. With the blood bucket in your possession, plus carrying container, I think that our timelines should converge, so that we're gonna be hitting probably about 8 p.m. on the 14th, where the rest of the league is over at their bunkhouse, and Dauntless now has the blood bucket and a new quest.
Can we leave off with me leaving the compound with the blood bucket and my stack?
Yeah, you can go back to your room, get all your stuff. You can leave the compound, say any goodbyes if you
Oh, actually,
care
I would
to.
have. Okay, I would bring my sack and my box of blood bucket to the edge of the compound, and then I'm gonna go find the dragon lady I gotta give my ring back to.
Yep. You find your cousin, whom you still have not gotten her name yet, but you give her back her ring. And suddenly you can't understand what she's saying as soon as you take it off.
I kind of shrug at her. Just,
She puts the
wait.
ring back on her finger, and then immediately, you leave.
well, I shoulder my spindle, effectively, and I pick up my blood box, and I'm off. Fuck this place.
Descending down the stairs, you can find your companions over at the nearest bunkhouse. They will be doing touristy things during the day, but during night they can settle down for an evening relaxation over at this bunkhouse. It's safe to assume that you'd somehow get in contact with them in such a way that you can reconvene. I don't want to get too much time on you wandering through the city with a box,
Well, Adam, where there's a four-way intersection, there's a way.
I suppose, but there's a 25% chance if you follow that 4 intersection that you just go back the way you came.
That's fine. I literally, the way that would make the most sense for me is I would literally just wander around until I found them.
Causing like traffic jams.
No, I just literally walk around. I'm the Red Dragonborn in the Red Dragonborn capital of the world. Like, if someone tries to kill me, it's like, well, woe be unto you.
Sucks to be you. I'm gonna blow up and you're gonna be economically ruined.
Yeah, if you survive, then they're probably going to put you in pee-pee poo-poo rape dungeon or prison or
Don't
some shit.
say that, please. Why pee?
He's not wrong though.
I don't know why I had to add the other part though, or the first one.
The
It
dragons
could have just
are-
been a rape dungeon, but not the pee-pee poo-poo rape dungeon. I don't know.
I imagine
That's
the
where I draw the line.
Yeah, okay. I imagine the dragons would be particularly vindictive if they got the opportunity to. They're the type of people. They seem like the type of people that enjoy killing
You
ants.
seem like pee pee poo poo people. Is that what you're saying?
They have a pee pee poo poo dungeon. Of course, they're poo poo people.
Jeez.
All right, I think that's our quota for saying pee-pee poo-poo for this.
Put that on the bingo. Yeah.
For this one,
Campaign.
we're gonna go ahead and say that you guys reconvene at the bunkhouse, and you guys have Dauntless walking in with a large box.
It's at 5:30.
Those gifts.
Nope, I'm gonna say it's about 8 p.m.
So we would have been listening to this fucking show that we were going to start at 6. Is that what we'd have been doing? What time did the evening festivities start? Because that was like something that Varys asked before we ended.
Well, the
And the
evening
old lady was like,
festivities usually start around 6 p.m., which is when most
Mm.
people get off of work for their day jobs at least. So you would have been doing stuff for at least another 2 hours before Dauntless came. The reason why Dauntless is coming so late is because dinner was at 7 p.m. for the Morgemoth family.
And I had to get my blood box.
And you have to get the blood box. So around 8...
6:30 to 10 p.m. it said entertainment.
Oh. Well,
That's-
let's
Unless you're
say
changing that.
10 then.
Yeah.
10
till
p.m.
I wandered around a lot.
Wandered around with the box a lot. You're tired from carrying this thing, and eventually you find your companions at the bunkhouse. Dauntless has a box. The rest of you can be drunk if you want to be.
Did we glean
Hell
anything?
yeah.
I'm
Actually,
probably
no, let me
pretty
roll
drunk
for
with
that.
Sun, yeah.
Well, let's just do a 50-50. We've been doing nothing else all day. Upper half will be drunk. I rolled a 18, so I am
User
intoxicated.
joined your channel.
Neat. Alright, so, over at the bunkhouse, you guys are
Drunk.
drunk.
I don't want to harp on, but did we
Uh-huh.
glean anything from that whole? Because I think the whole point of that festivities and entertainment thing was to find bard-related stuff.
Well-
Was it just like a night of
Well, there
non-related
is
stuff?
live entertainment in the form of people playing music. Most of it is lyricless and is just people strumming on locally available instruments.
Lyrical, miracle, spiritual, individual.
That's those kind of stuff. But think of any desert level in any video game ever, and that's the...
Well, no, there are two different types of desert. There is Arabian desert and there's cowboy desert. You can't have them both.
I'll let
Banjo.
you assume which one I'd like to be referring to.
Andrew.
Well, why would you not refer to cowboy desert?
Ding ding ding.
Ding, ding.
Arabian Nights.
Yeah, Gronk is the entertainment for this evening. Thank you very much. He just
Says
the bard?
Arabian
Grog,
Nights.
Are you the bard of
Oh,
legend?
For 4 hours. Oh my god.
it's just one guy saying
Arabian
Arabian Nights.
Nights. Like, wow, he's fucking just not stop saying
That's
that.
lit.
I love that bard. What's her name?
Say the-
Gronk?
say the-
Aw, amazing.
It's Gork the orc.
To
would
answer
be
your
what it would be,
question,
wouldn't it?
I won't speak for every character, but I feel like at least half of us would be spending the time trying to figure out like, is this bard an actual bard? Are we like looking for something specific?
Yeah, because that was the whole point. The fact he was like, "Yeah, it's 10 of them." I was like, "Did anything happen? Were we able to clean anything?"
But if the answer is nothing, then it would be
Yeah,
us.
it
It
was
would be
just-
us in the bunkhouse, kind of like staring at the walls, like
Drinking.
where else is there to check in this city? And then Dawdles walks in with a giant box and all raised eyebrows from
All people
me,
that have
at least.
eyebrows can't
Well,
raise
I mean, I'm assuming what you're looking
Got
for
him.
is the bard to start singing, and he's like, "Oh, go west," and then eventually you'll hit a brick in the wall. If you push the brick in the wall, it goes down to the black market. Ooh, I'm just speaking in satire.
Where's the grim? Oh man.
Give me the
Uh,
grim right now.
But no, most of the live entertainment is literally actually just people playing music for real, for real.
It's them. It must be them.
He's got the
Him?
fucking...
Do you think it's him? Yeah, we're gonna spend the whole time, and it's like,
Uh,
and then Zen and Kalos progressively get drunker and drunker, and they're just getting rowdier. It's like,
I
him!
wanna.
It's that one right over there, Zen.
I
Kill
wanna
him.
spend,
For every
uh,
bard that you think is the guy who's going to show us to the black market, 6
You got-
headliners
super
later.
pissed, right?
It's like a
Kalos is
tabaxi. You got a tabaxi with a loot, and then like Zen's just like, hey, he looks like Billy. That one. Go ask him.
Really?
Callus is just like on the table, like full body, like pointing.
That one.
Think you get it? And then Zen is just like, fucking, let me tell you a thing or two about knife eaters.
I sat next to someone with knife ears. Probably flanked by like
the two
me and
people
Varys,
that
like,
that have some sort of hatred towards elves. Just like you fucking hate those elves. Fuck
No, but
yeah.
they're on opposite sides of the table, whispering across Varys and Laszlo, and they're having this conversation.
Like
That
you
was
see
right.
that
And we're just
fucking
like,
pointy-eared fucks? Like,
You see, they find the one other drunk old guy who's here who also hates elves, and you just...
Also
wow.
racist.
Seems like a lot of old people have a lot of similar ideas. Bygone.
starts telling you about back in his day, they used to put these people in a camp of some kind.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Oh no! Oh no!
Doing all the shit when we gave them rights.
Oh god, Grunk, please.
Okay, that
the
was.
old man.
I was going to say, Adam, maybe that's a step too far. It's like, no, Gronk, just.
Gronk, put on accelerator!
Grunk, hit the gas. We're crashing this plane with no survivors.
See you later, Grog. Oh, Grog's been put away.
Alright, so, anyways, he's got a box. There's the main new thing.
Get us presents?
Did they welcome you back?
They didn't kill you.
You're alive. Great.
And wait,
Okay.
wait. I look at his forehead. Did they kill you? Did you kill them by accident?
I mean, you probably would have heard about it, I'm not gonna lie.
Weren't you keeping an eye out for fire? Right? We didn't see any fire, did you?
Fire.
I point to Varys.
Are you on fire, Varys? What is happening?
I was afraid though that you would end up being on fire, as we've.
No, I'm not currently on fire, but what's in this box, or what's going to be in this box, may light us on fire.
What did you do?
Oh.
So do you want the good news or the bad news?
Just everything, whole story, unabridged, top to bottom. What happened? Why any surprises?
Hold on. And they pour a shot to Zen. Shot for every time he says fire in the story, yeah?
Got it.
We're in the
Got it.
Is
bunkhouse
this
now,
fire
they're still-
water?
It's fire wire, hell yeah.
You'd be kind of disappointed, but okay. Well, actually, no, Kalos, you were.
I scooch
Nah,
over and create
going
a
to be
spot for
disappointed.
Dorlus to sit down.
I'm sitting on the box. I'm using the box as a phone.
Okay.
Box breaks.
Well,
Oh God, no! Wait, all right, that.
you
Is there
said
anyone
it.
else in the bunkhouse right now, or do we have basically this area?
Oh, we're at the
to
tavern.
ourselves? Well, I thought we.
Where are we?
He found us.
There is a tavern adjacent to
Oh.
the
Yeah, but
bunkhouse.
the thing is, in a loud enough tavern, like unless we're literally screaming this at each other, if we're talking, like if we're at a table in the corner.
Well, I don't think you ever learned to be discreet as a group, so go ahead.
So, I gotta get some blood. gotta
I
get
can give you
dragon
some blood.
Yeah, we need dragon blood.
You're dragon.
No, like the big, and I flap.
Oh.
And I gotta put it in the box. Well, the thing in the box. It's
I
a
also
vase.
I also lean over and whisper to Kalos, Dragonborn aren't real dragons.
Don't tell him that though.
You can't say that here. They'd get mad, Varys. You can't say that here. Be respectful, God.
Well, look. At any rate, we're gonna get some dragon blood. Put it in a vase. Put the vase in the box. Bring the box back there. And then I shrug.
Simple.
What's the timeline on this?
They didn't actually give me one.
Well, that's probably a question that you should have get answers to, yeah? I don't know.
What's it related to?
It's some dragonborn thing. They like the blood. I don't look.
Dragonborn
They
thing.
can drink the blood for all I
Dragonborn thing.
care.
What thing?
Is it-
Ceremonial.
Ceremony. Okay. If it's a ceremony, do they do it? Is it a frequent ceremony?
They were really vague and honestly kind of pissed that I was even there. So
That's that part. Yeah. Get that.
but the upshot. So that's the bad news. The good news is that this effectively means that I don't need to put on airs, which I'm happy about. And I smile.
What?
Oh, there's.
You don't have lips.
A toothy grin, if you will.
Oh, no eyebrows, no lips, no ears.
Nautilus can't have no fun.
You're a freak.
I turned to Kalos. We should have had him wear your fancy hat.
I
Just came to the city
told
like-
you. See?
Well, we'd also get paid for this.
Oh. How much?
My dad said a lot. I do the.
My dad works at Valve.
My dad
dad's
works at-
pretty cool, guys.
My
you
dad,
know?
my uncle Mortimer, my dad.
He owns Valve.
I don't know if you know about this about my dad, but he's pretty cool. Well,
All right.
Did you guys do anything fun?
We looked at
alcohol is
religious
fun.
buildings. That was pretty good.
Huh.
They found out that thing about you, right?
that you-
Knifey. I forgot
Which one?
his name. I'm looking at you, Ulrich.
I'm looking at you. What? Found what out?
The thing about your face.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Oh
me
no,
and-
you
me
didn't.
and
trip
Callie's
into
made a bit
another
of a
butcher's
discovery.
block, did
Yeah.
You didn't trip into another butcher's block, did you?
No,
This was
no,
a-
no.
This was about the first butcher's block he tripped into.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this good news?
It's news.
Open to interpretation.
I don't really want to talk about it here, but it's news.
Well, oh yeah, makes sense.
So, I do have something to share. Nothing that was pressing. I didn't think it was relevant. I was just curious on my way in.
Well, lay it on me. I'm whacking ears, but I'm all ears.
You're either.
There
You're
were-
not ears.
you don't have any ears. You have holes.
I'm
These-
all. Don't say that. That's yeah.
They all have holes.
But it's
I'm all
true.
holes.
Not like I'm lying. He has holes.
There are at least 5
It's-
dragons within 5 miles of the city.
Oh,
Whoa.
Now,
That's good.
I'm assuming, now, to be fair,
Hmm.
I don't know if these are kobolds or the
oh,
real deal.
yeah. They told me not to kill any of those. That's faking and cheating, and they'll kill me for that.
But
We gotta kill one.
Well, they said that I don't have to kill the dragon to get its blood, but like, I mean, if I was told to get elf blood, or if I was told to get,
We wouldn't think to ask them for some blood first.
he specifically says elf blood. I'm just like, I
Yeah,
first
I'm-
the
he hasn't
conversation
even
with
been
Callus
drinking,
and
like,
then
Like, see?
that
well,
fucking
my
place has changed.
point is, you don't get blood from a stone, and if you could, you'd probably kill the stone. So
You ever heard of blood donations?
I don't think dragons are very much into donating blood. Maybe if
All
we
right,
gave them something.
hold on, out of character, there wouldn't be blood donations when you can just magic things away.
Well, everyone's
No,
magic.
you had.
Not
no, 'cause
everyone's magic,
We,
yeah.
we've had at least
Oh,
one
wait,
blood
yeah, we
transfusion
did.
in this campaign.
Okay, no, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
eat your
enough.
words, buddy.
That's true.
Yeah, and and I'm part
pie.
elephant. I got
No,
bone
two.
marrow.
Two
Yeah.
transfusions,
Wait, when was the second?
both
blood
involving Henry's characters.
Well, I was involved with one of those. I just completely forgot. But,
Well,
like,
have
what was
fucking
the second
hippopotamus. He's
one?
got space hippopotamus.
Oh,
blood.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what he
right,
has.
right. All right,
And
anyway,
then some other time troll blood.
well, it said you could probably buy blood from a dragon, but I don't.
We have to
Well,
buy it.
If we're gonna buy it, what are we gonna give them?
Money.
Favor. But money,
Dragons
favor.
like gold and
Money.
magic.
Okay,
magic
well,
items.
I would be careful assuming that all dragons are of that.
Well, they don't
that
want.
ilk.
Well, this is. Hold
Well,
on, this
They
seeing
want
is,
stuff that'll
how-
look good in their horde. That's
this
what
is
they like.
this is
Seeing
assuming
how
a lot.
also-
You said you couldn't tell if they were kobolds or not. So
That
and again-
said, two of them are here within the city limits themselves.
I look around the bar.
Wow, he's right there.
It's right there. Look,
It's
and I
the
pointed that
barkeep.
guy. That
It's the
guy.
old woman that spoke to us
And
earlier.
there are three others scattered around the oasis.
Okay.
How narrow
That's-
can you like narrow it down?
Well, I mean, they're big flying things.
No, it is sense
Within 5 miles, I can detect if they're there. More
in direction.
direction, general direction, and numbers.
Well, do you want to go
more
center of
specific
the
than that?
city? Oh, that's not. We can't do that.
More specific than that, we'd actually have to leave the city limits and start poking at the ground and looking for tracks, so to speak. So I can
But that
find out
takes
more
us
information.
away from the city.
Is why I'm thinking we should resolve our business here before we start going on any hunts like that.
Well, if it's right
Oh.
here, then we could just,
Did your father imply that we would have to do, or did anyone imply that we would have to do some sort of research in order to find where we can find a fucking dragon? If we-
no, they gave me the blood.
If we
box.
didn't have an pseudo expert on dragons?
No, they effectively gave me the blood box and told me to get lost.
Oh. Oh.
But yeah, no, that's not maimed, not dead. You guys aren't dead. I call this a good day.
Why would we be dead?
I just give you a slow blink.
You're just not positive. You are. Okay? Now take a shot.
Oh. The League has a new quest. I don't have a sound effect for that anymore, but I used to.
It's not really a new quest so much as it is like legitimizing an old grievance.
Part 2 of an existing quest chain. But you have your new task. Get dragon blood. Easy.
Go get blood.
And, with Varys being able to detect them within a 5-mile radius, it should be an easy quest. The DM says to himself as he slowly hovers over the end stream button, because that's where we're gonna end.
Well, the difficulty isn't necessarily finding the blood, it's getting the blood.
Well, it could be both. Could be both. I'm just gonna slowly exit this here video